welcome back to Elfo Deco. It's almost Christmas time, so we're going to make one more ornament for this holiday season, one more design. And it's these floral ornaments made with real flowers, and they have a gold ring around them. I used a gold hoop and some resin tape, and yeah, I'll show you exactly how I make these, so let's get started. For these floral ornaments, since there's no base or mold for the resin to be poured into, we need to stick the hoops onto this resin tape so we can pour into the hoops. The tape will seal the sides, and you can use other tapes for this purpose as well, but I find this one that I'm working with to be best for me in terms of the stickiness and leaving any of the tape glue residue on and in my pieces. I found this on Amazon searching for resin tape. This tape is 5 inches wide, and I will add the link to this specific one in the description so it's easier for you to find if you need it. I placed the hoop onto the tape and press around the sides to help it stick better. This tape actually isn't very sticky, but sticky enough for me, and if I do get any resins that seeps underneath to the bottom of the piece, it's not difficult to clean up. Other tapes that I've used had sticky parts of the tape peeling up while I was creating my piece, and then the sticky part residue was curing in my pieces, or it was too sticky and I had to sand the tape off to clean up the piece. So that's why I use this one, and this one is the best for me. But if you have other suggestions for tapes like this, let me know in the comments. I'd love to check out what else is available for us to create with. Once I have the hoops taped down, I will pour a little bit of resin and place my flowers. These frames are very, very thin, so I only poured a little bit to make sure I'm not over pouring or spill over the edges. Also, since we're working with flowers, we have to make sure that there's space for another layer of resin on top to fully cover the flowers. Flowers are light and they tend to float to the surface, so this first layer, when working with flowers, generally the first layer is to set the flowers and have it hold the placement of our flowers. And the resin that I'm using for these ornaments is Totalbolt's high performance resin, the slow hardener version. This resin has 3 hardener versions, and I use the slow hardener version. I will also link the resin in the description, and if you purchase through my link, you will be able to get a discount and save a little bit on your resin. This is my go-to resin for the past 4 years, so if you're trying it out and have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I will answer your questions as best as I can, and that way others with the same or similar questions can also see the response. Right now in the video, you see me placing my dried flowers. These flowers are a set from Amazon, and they are unfortunately no longer available, so I don't have a link for that, but you can create these with any pressed flowers. You can even press your own from your garden to make these ornaments even more meaningful. I do find that the flowers available online to be iffy sometimes, the available stock that they have, but they are real flowers, so that's understandable. For the placement of these flowers, I am just going by what feels right wherever my hands want to place the flowers. I don't often do pre-planned placements unless I'm trying to replicate a previous design I made or something. You will notice that while I'm placing my flowers, I am tapping them down with my mixing stick to make sure the entire flower is covered in resin. If there are any spots that the flowers are not covered, it can absorb some of the moisture in the air, and that can cause some issues with the flowers rotting in the piece in the future. That's why fresh flowers and resin does not go well together. The moisture in the fresh flowers can cause the resin to flash cure, or if not, will rot over time in the piece, the flower. How long or short that time is will vary, but it will eventually turn into an ugly yellow or brown, and there's nothing we can do about a rotten flower in the resin piece in the future. So just make sure that all of the flowers that you use in your resin art is dried. If you need any flower drying tutorials, I do have that on my channel as well, so you can check that out after. The first layer has hardened, and I just want to show you the side view of what these ornaments look like and how thin they are. The center of the roses are sticking out just a tad, and I don't think I'll be able to fully cover it to get it to be flat. Like, you'll feel the little bump in the center of the rose, but as long as it has been resined over, it will be okay. But they are really thin, so for the second layer, you just want to be very careful. I'm doing a clear coat on the top, another clear layer, using the same resin, Totalbolt's high performance resin, and really be very, very, very careful, because if it spills over the edges, it can get very messy. And I made sure that the first layer was very thin, so I had enough of the frame to hold the resin to keep it from spilling over. So I just pour a little bit in the middle and I spread the resin out to the side, and you can see this, that's what I'm doing in the video. And just really be very careful so you don't have a messy cleanup. Now if you do end up over pouring and get any spillage, that's okay. You just have to sand it down. It's not the end of the world. I just don't like sanding, so I try my best to be very careful and hate cleaning up pieces, which I do, but not my favorite part. So yeah, just be careful, don't rush this part to save yourself the time and effort in cleaning up. The second layer has fully cured now, and let's peel the tape off these ornaments. They are so cute with the gold rim of the hoop and these flowers. These are macrame hoops, and I know there are some wood versions as well that you can use for these. And I've seen some people use embroidery hoops to create similar ornaments and decors. So I chose this one because I love the gold that the hoop comes in, and they definitely didn't disappoint. You'll notice that the back of these ornaments are not as shiny as the top layer that we did. It might be harder for me to capture that on camera, especially with these being clear and see-through, but because the tape where the resin cured on is not shiny, the back of these ornaments do not have a shiny finish. So as I'm peeling these ornaments off the tape, I am placing them on a sheet of parchment paper, backside up, so we'll add a top coat to these ornaments to make the back shiny and to even out any unevenness from the tape. For this one ornament though, resin seeped underneath the tape a little bit, and we have a little piece outside of the gold hoop. To clean this up, I just use a scissor and carefully snip it off. A scissor is not exactly the best tool for this, but it's what I have available next to me, and so that's why I use it. And if there are any imperfections from the snipping, I am doing a clear coat on the back as well, so it will be covered up. Here are all 4 ornaments back side up right now, and we are going to repeat layer 2 with a clear coat for the back. We are using Total High Performance resin again. Drop a little bit in the middle and spread it out. Now I've said to be careful in the previous layer, but this one I'm more serious about it. Be very careful, because if any resin spills over the edges, the front of your piece is ruined and you'll have to sand it down and do another clear coat for the top just to fix it. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I usually apply a layer of glue for the resin drip protection when I do my top coats, so that way we wouldn't have to do the sanding if we did have resin drip over the edges. But I didn't do it for these ornaments because I wanted to save time. We are making these during the holiday season, and I honestly need all the minutes and seconds I can get. If you don't trust yourself to be careful with this step, apply a layer of Elmer's glue to the front beforehand to protect it. If resin spills over, you won't have to sand and top coat again. You will just be able to peel the glue, and that will reveal your perfect finish for the ornament. I will try to link a top coating video in the description where I do go over step by step what I'm talking about and show you how it's done if you need it. But if you're doing it like me, following my steps for this video and not protecting the front of your piece, you really should be careful with this step. So apply a little bit at a time, and you can always add more if you need. Another note I want to mention is that I am doing this on a piece of parchment paper, mainly to prevent the front from scratches if I place them directly on my mat, and also I can easily shift them around if I need to without touching the piece itself. The resin has fully hardened for the backside top coat that we did, and now we are going to drill some holes so we can attach the ribbons and make these into the ornaments that we want them to be. To drill the hole, I am using my Black & Decker drill and a drill bit from the set that I got off Amazon. I chose the bit that would be a good size for the ribbons that I'm using. If I was using a thicker ribbon, I'd probably use a wider bit, and if I was using a skinny cord, I'd probably use a skinnier bit. So I attach the drill bit to my drill and I make the hole for the ribbon. I am drilling on a foam board because I will be drilling all the way through the ornaments, and I'd rather not have holes on my table. I believe I got this board from Lowe's, and I think it's an insulation foam board. Not exactly what it's called, but it's very thick and there's no chance of the drill going through the board. After making the hole, I used compressed air to clean out any dust, and I actually suggest you get an electric version of this to save more money in the long run. These cans actually go by really quickly, and I've spent over hundreds on them without realizing. I just got myself an electric version for like $30, and it won't run out of air. So that's a lot in savings. At least it shouldn't run out of air because it's electric version, and I should be able to charge it up. But yeah. And I also use my Cricut weeding tool to poke out any dust if I need to. I'm using this as a sharp tool, so you can use a toothpick or anything that will poke through the piece really. No need to go out and buy a weeding tool for this step. Now it's time to add the ribbons so we can actually hang up these ornaments. I got these ribbons from Walmart and I just measure approximately how long I want the ornament to hang, cut the strips evenly, all 4 at once, and then string them to the ornament. Once we're done with this step, we'll hang them up on the tree and see how they look. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed making these ornaments with me, and I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday season. I have a lot planned for next year, and so I will keep you updated in the community tab. And yeah, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next year.